I'm Susan. That's Susan Popoola. I'm a human value optimization specialist. And that is to say, I do research, I write, I speak, and I work with organizations, education, and the wider community to optimize the value that people bring. I've always believed that each and every person has value. The key is for that to be recognized and optimized. There are two key elements to this. One is that individuals, they need to recognize who they are and what they have to offer and be able to work to the optimum of that value. At the same time, other people need to recognize what they have to bring as well. One without the other is limiting. It doesn't bring out the optimal result. But when you have the two working hand in hand in harmony, individuals recognizing what they have to offer and the people around them making the most of that, you end up with individuals who are happy, content, effective and productive in whatever environment they're in. In some ways, you could refer to the Mosaic model as a diversity model. However, it's much more than that. The Mosaic model is about diversity, but critically, it's also about inclusion, engagement, and bringing out the optimal value from each and every individual. If you just say to people, someone's different and you need to accept them, then there's no basis for trust. With the Mosaic model, we therefore have a different starting point. We start with what people have in common. That's their values and their interests. Those are the things that really bring people together. Typically, what tends to happen is that we focus on the physical attributes that we're familiar with. There's something that is called the waterline of visibility. It talks about the things that you readily see when you meet a person. So you can typically tell the person's gender, you can see the color of a person's skin, but you can't see the deeper things, the things that really make a person who they are in the true sense of the word, such as people's values, their interests, their ethos. The things that really make up the essential being aren't readily visible. And what the Mosaic model does, it gets people focusing beyond the surface. We do things like mosaic maps, which get people to really lay out what people's values are, what their interests are, just so that they can see beyond the surface to who people are, what they have to offer as people, and build trust. That doesn't take away the differences. The differences are critical to who people are as well. And so when we talk about the mosaic, the values, the interests, the things we have in common are like the glue on a mosaic art piece. And the differences that we have, those are like the tapestry, the colourful bits that ultimately make it beautiful. But those different coloured pieces wouldn't stay together without the glue. And so that is key to the mosaic. And in addition to that, you also consider behaviours and ways in which people communicate, which can otherwise lead to misunderstanding and failure of relationships. But the key question with all of this is, what makes the Mosaic model important? I believe that it's critical for there to be inclusion and engagement, because without it, you find a situation whereby people have the I mentality. There's a lot of dispute and discord. People don't work together. There's a lack of harmony. There are a lot of problems within organizations and environments where you don't have inclusion and engagement, which lead to larger problems in organizations, such as high turnover, the failure to be able to recruit and retain the key people that you really want working with you. Low motivation to work and be productive. Lack of productivity at the right level. And the failure of people from disparate backgrounds and from different generations to work together. However, when you go forward to an inclusive and engaged environment created through the Mosaic model, what you then find that you get is an environment where people work together in harmony. It's no longer I, but we and us. How can I support you? How can we work together? How can we make the most of things? Common values, common goals, and ultimately a productive environment that people want to work in, where people tell people outside to come to, so they become brand ambassadors, and it becomes an optimal environment that people want to work in.